So we have a complaint that a walk-in freezer and a walk-in cooler is not working properly. Just walked onto the roof, and that compressor is going off on internal bypass right now, that large scroll compressor on the right. The scroll has separated inside and it's bypassing the refrigerant. So we're going to turn off this rack, see if it's dirty. I'm pretty sure it is, and clean it up. And then once we get everything cooled down, we'll put some gauges on them and go from there. Yeah, it's dirty. That's the condenser. Walk-in cooler right there. So we're gonna get these cleaned up. Just like on my other videos, I like to work smart, not hard. Take all the panels off, access the condenser, wash from the top down, right down into it. And we're just doing the water rinse, and then we'll get some acid on there in a minute. Nice and slow. Let's be thorough and get this done right. My main concern is down all the way back in here, and I'm going to try to wash off all the big stuff and then let the coil cleaner take the insides out. But we need to get all the way back in here. I washed from the top first. Got it foamed up from the top down. Foaming all crazy down in there. Just letting it sit for a few minutes, and then we're going to rinse again from the top down, nice and thorough. It's evaporating pretty quick too. Okay, so all right, now we're all cleaned up. It's all dried out. I'm gonna get ready to turn this on. As you can see, we're clean all the way back now. It's actually clean because I got all the way back in there. Hard spot to get. So let's hope that this compressor resets now. Just like I've showed before, we're turning these breakers on one at a time. Giving it about 5 to 10 seconds per breaker. Let the compressor turn on, calm down, and then we're moving down the line. One compressor at a time. Make sure they actually come on. Try not to overload their system. That should be system D. Should be this bad boy. Make sure the sight glasses clear up. Just watch them. It's the walk-in cooler, and it kind of looks like it's flashing. That's one of the ones we're here for. We're here for the walk-in cooler and freezer, so we'll see. We've had a history with this compressor right here overheating. It can't handle the high temperatures. We've got the superheat set right, but it just can't. It just constantly goes, overheats basically, and we know that the DTC valve is working properly. It just has a hard time. I've had a hard time with this one. So we'll see. Let's hope, cross our fingers, because I really don't want to have to change a compressor today. If there's any consolation, it's a roto-lock, so I guess that would make it a little bit easier, but still a pain in the ass. So, all right, now it's time for the next one. Okay, so we're coming down to temp. It's definitely still warm outside. It's about 100 degrees. My suction superheat, that's my compressor superheat. That's really high right now. But it also is under a really heavy load. This is the walk-in freezer. My liquid line temp, that's actually my discharge line. I just wanted to see what my discharge temp was. 164 degrees, that's not too bad. It's running. We've got oil. DTC valve is actually cooling. The walk-in cooler looks good. Sight glass is clear. And man, I like that head pressure better than the walk-in freezer, for sure. I'm gonna do a little research. It almost makes me wonder if the condenser for the walk-in freezer is undersized, because this is a rack. Man, okay, anyways, so yeah, we're looking good. This one's a walk-in cooler, like I said. And liquid line temp is my discharge line temp. I just wanted to see that we were operating properly. They're down there, so yeah, looking good. So like I had mentioned, I've had problems here in the past with head pressure issues, and in the summertime we get these little heat waves where it hits 115, 120, and it just gets ridiculous. So what I did was I actually added a swamp cooler, and I leave that panel off. And I blow, cool the air 20 degrees, 25 degrees, whatever it is, blow it in there to try to kind of pre-cool that rack a little bit. And it really does help. I just think, let's hope that all that was wrong today was just that the condenser was dirty, so we went off on high head pressure. I'm hoping, because I don't want to have any more problems. It seems to be running fine right now, but it's also cooling down. It's only 100 right now, and we got all the way up to 120, so we'll see.
Okay, so this was a service call on a walk-in freezer and walk-in cooler that weren't working properly. This was when we had a blast a couple weeks ago of heat. It reached 120 degrees outside. And what had happened was the condenser was plugged up, as you guys saw in the video. And my theory is that the compressor was turning on and off on high pressure because it has an auto reset high pressure control. And it happened so many times that finally the scroll disengaged and let the compressor's pressures internally bypass. Because when I arrived, you could hear the audible sound of the compressor bypassing on the inside. If you guys don't know what that sounds like or what to look for, the compressor still had 3-phase power and the motor was running in the compressor, but the scroll disengaged. Regardless, the reason why it happened was because the condenser was plugged up really bad. So I went ahead and thoroughly cleaned that entire refrigeration rack and got everything back up and running. I ended up going back a couple days later after the box has satisfied and, stabilized, and checked the evaporator superheat, and it's running at 8 degrees evaporator superheat, so that was great. And the system's working fine still. It has since been, like I said, a couple weeks and, no problems at all. So everything's good. One of the things is that particular rack I did mention that I was just kind of thinking as I was talking, wondering if that condenser was potentially undersized. I still haven't done too much research on that. I still kind of wonder about that because I had to add that swamp cooler to cool that rack off, because without that swamp cooler, when it hit about 105, the walk-in freezer and the walk-in cooler compressors would fall off the map and go off on high temperature. Me personally, I don't know how you guys feel, any of you that have experience. I'm not super fond of low temperature compressors being scroll. I tend to have more problems with it. Do you guys have problems? I have several different models, different sizes, different capacities, and I tend to have a lot of problems with the low temperature scroll compressors. I don't know, just seems to be kind of a more of a pain than, a help, basically. Man, I just really like a good semi-hermetic or even a reciprocating compressor versus just one of those scroll ones for the low temp applications, at least. I kind of wonder too, I've heard that they're going to fractional horsepower on the scroll compressors for the small, like half horsepower and 3/4 horsepower condensing units, refrigeration wise. I kind of wonder how that's going to work out with the high temperature situations also. Let me know if any of you guys have used any of those fractional horsepower scroll compressors. I'd kind of like to know how it works out. Anyways, I really appreciate you guys taking the time to watch this video. Please leave me a comment in the comment section. Give me a thumbs up. And if you like what I produce, please subscribe to my channel. Okay, thank you very much.